Hey guys, Francis here. So, my husband's away and my kids are sleeping, so I wanted to make a little video. And today I want to talk about how I ended up in my role as a behavior analyst and behavior therapist, and how it really helped shape my life and shape me as a person and really changed my life, to be honest. So it all started with I finished my undergrad in psychology, and I was like, I'm going to become a psychologist and I'm going to apply to programs. And in the meantime, because I wanted to work with youth, I thought I should become a youth worker. So I was looking for jobs in youth work, but they basically required that I quit dancing because I needed to do night shifts, and I was not willing to give up teaching dance. It's something that is a huge passion of mine, and honestly was therapeutic for me and so important in my life that I wasn't willing to give it up. So I looked on Craigslist and Kijiji for jobs, and I found something called a behavior therapist. And the word therapist really appealed to me, so I applied. It indicated that it was to work with children with exceptionalities with special needs. I didn't really know what that entailed, but I applied anyways. And little did I know that this was going to be the biggest decision of my life up until that point. Um, Essentially, my second interview was with a little boy. This little boy ended up being my main client, a client that I worked with for the longest time and probably the most throughout my entire career. I worked with multiple, like many children, but he in particular played such an important role in shaping me. And I had no idea. This day I went in to just play with this kid. And in playing with him, in the 20 minutes that I had as this interview, I had a blast. And I thought, this kid is amazing. And this is what my job is going to be? Cool. I can play for fun. Yeah, let's do it. And I ended up in this role as a behavior therapist, which was really hard. It was emotionally and mentally so hard for me um, because I work with such smart, brilliant, amazing kids. And I'm trying to teach them, but they're also teaching me. And it wasn't easy at first. It really wasn't easy for me to get kids to do what I needed them to do. It was a really big learning curve for me, as it is for many people in the field when they first get started. I've now been in the field for over 10 years. It's different, obviously, for me now. Um, but when I first got started, I remember going home crying and very frustrated. But I never wanted to give up. There was this hope and this need to continue doing what I was doing and this love for it. I loved these kids. I still do. I still love these kids. But there was this deeper connection. It wasn't just that I was going in there to teach them particular skills, it was that I was going in there to shape their life. And I was going in there to provide them with an opportunity to learn in order to live their life to their fullest potential. Because for most of them, their potential could exceed mine. Some of them, some of the kids that I work with are so brilliant in one way, and some of them are so brilliant in a totally different way. All of them have magnificent minds, beautiful minds, and in working with them, I learned that the way that I see the world is only one way. And the way that they see the world is a totally different way. And the way another child sees the world is a totally different way. And I have to work within their realm and their view and their passions and their skills and their talents to be able to connect with them, to be able to help them. And I learned from um, the best teacher who really helped me and shaped my therapy style. She really did. And I'm going to give her a shout out. Dr. Leslie Cohen really shaped me as a therapist. And I'm so beyond thankful that I ended up in her hands and with her brain to pick for all those years that I worked with her. Um, and the kids that I got to work with through her were the ones that really shaped me. I learned about myself more than I was ever able to teach them. I learned about the world. I learned about people. I learned about my gifts. I learned about everything in working in this field. I just grew so much as a human being. I knew what kind of mother I wanted to be. I knew what kind of healer and helper and teacher I wanted to be. And I knew that I wanted to help children for the rest of my life. So help me God, however I can, I want to change this world for the better. And I want to help these children, and I want them to be happy. And I want them to be proud of themselves. And I want them to know I can do this. There's no barrier to what I can do. There's no ceiling. There's no cap. Yes, there are different ways that I'm going to learn. Yes, there are different things that maybe I'm not going to do the same, or maybe I can't do as well, but there are things that I can do way better. And there are things that I can think that you can't even imagine. And that's what I want. I want those kids, and I want every child that ends up working with my therapist and working with me to feel that they are so capable, because the world is putting stamps on children and stamps on people and saying you are disabled, you cannot do it. I've met so many people that when they hear what I do, they say, "Oh, you must be so patient," or "You work with such an unfortunate population." An unfortunate population? I don't see it that way at all. I think I'm the luckiest person. And I say this all the time to the people that work with me and to parents that I meet, that I am the luckiest person that I get to work with your kid. And I'm the luckiest person, or we are the luckiest people who get to work with these kids, because we get to see into their minds, even just a little glimpse. I wish I could see so much more, but I get a little glimpse into this magnificent mind and universe that is different from mine, and that is so beautiful and unique and amazing. And there's something so deep and meaningful in figuring out what works for this kid. How does he see the world? What speaks to him? What connects to his soul and to his heart? What lights up his eyes and his mind? And he goes, ah, and that's how I get to teach him. And what are those things that he feels he'll never be able to do? Or what are those things that she thinks she's so much worse at than everybody else? Or what are those things that that child says, I can't do it? And I show them a different way. I show them a way that works for them. And then I see them feel, hey, maybe I'm different, but I'm awesome. And maybe I'm different from the people around me, but they're all different too. And maybe I think differently, but I'm brilliant. And I have this gift or that gift. And that's what I want to bring out. And that's what this job means to me, what this career means to me. This career means that, I was once told that I have a save the world mentality. And I definitely do. I didn't think so at the time, but I absolutely do. But I can, because there's this ripple effect to what I do, to what we all do. And the more positive change that I make, and the more that I pour love and I pour positivity and I pour strength into the kids around me and into the people around me, the better the world will be. And the better they're going to be, and they're going to feel, and they're going to succeed in things that maybe they didn't think they could, or maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. So this job means that I get to see light in the dark. I often have parents come to me and they feel like they're in the dark. And I like to bring a little lamp with me, a flashlight, or maybe a big light, and just show them that it's not all darkness. That you have a magical kid. And yes, it's hard. I am not taking away from those days that I went home crying, from those clients that, I just can't find that way of helping them yet. Or those parents that go to bed crying because their child isn't going to grow up exactly how they hoped or they dreamed, or that their child is going to have challenges. And that's very hard. That's very hard to accept. But I like to shine my light on that. Because as hard as that is to accept, there's absolutely a magnificent beauty to the way that these children see things, to the way that these children experience, to the way that these children learn, to who these children are. I believe that when you look into someone's eyes, you see into their soul. If you've ever looked into a child's eyes, you see the whole world. You see an angel. You see the whole universe. And it's up to us to give them that opportunity, however we can. And my gift is to give it this way. My gift is to teach them the best way that they can learn and be and function so that they can live out their dreams, so that they can work towards whatever it is that they want to work towards and attain those goals. In doing this work, I grew so much as a person and I learned so much. I learned, I would say, probably 1 billion times more than I've ever taught any child. Not only about myself, but I learned about the universe and what is possible. There are infinite possibilities. And I really believe these kids are magic. I believe all kids are magic. And I just feel so honored and so lucky to have ended up in this job by mistake. It was not by mistake. I didn't go on Craigslist and Kijiji and just apply for a therapist job for no reason. I was called to. I had to do it. And it changed my life and changed me forever for the better. And now I'm so lucky I get to run a business where I get to work with so many children. I get to teach other people to do therapy in the way that I do it, which is slightly different. And I get to see the impact that it makes on a grander scale, because I'm not just the one-on-one therapist who's there every day. I'm now the behavior analyst who goes in and sees the change after time. And I just went in to do an observation for a client recently and I was blown away. And maybe when you're there every day, you don't necessarily notice all those little things. But all those little things are a whole world of amazing things. Like when a child all of a sudden isn't screaming and kicking all the time, but is communicating and is happy. That's a huge change. That's amazing. I wanted to leave there crying, being like, wow, yes, we still have a ways to go, and we will still be teaching and doing so much more. But this is amazing. And that's why I do what I do. I do it because I love it, but because I know I'm making a positive change, and because I know that each therapist that works with these kids, their life is changing for the better. And they're learning more from these kids than we could ever teach them. So we're all lucky. And as much as, we all think, or people think, that having a diagnosis or having mental health issues or having a challenge means you're not capable or you're different or you can't do something, I totally disagree. It means you do things differently. And you absolutely can do. You just do in your own way. And often your own way is probably a better way. And there are lots of people out there that we can learn from who've done incredible things that we need them to do, because the rest of the world kind of sees things differently and never would have thought of that. And we're lucky to have them. Thank you guys for listening. I went on a bit of a tangent, but I think it's a really important one because I love so much what I do, and I know that there's a lot of misunderstanding and misconceptions. There are a lot of misconceptions around the population that I get to work with, which not all of them have autism, and that's important to know. It's another misconception that behavior analysts and behavior therapists work with children with autism. We work with behavior in general. Some of the kids that we work with have autism, some of them have Down syndrome, some of them have ADHD, some of them have no diagnosis, some of them have an attachment disorder, and the list goes on. Really, we just work with kids, and our job is to make the best possible environment for them to grow and develop in, and to provide them with skills and tools that they may be lacking, or teach them a different way of expressing themselves, or a different way of working through a situation or dealing with particular situations that they encounter in their daily lives. And in doing so, as I've said a million times in this video, you end up learning so much yourself. And it's really, truly an amazing gift. So I am forever thankful that I get to do this. Thank you guys for watching. Love to you all. Mwah.